Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm just going to quickly talk about why I do not feed any of my animals a raw diet or any other fad diet for that matter. Basically, there is no reason to feed raw. I understand that a lot of people believe that this is a more natural way to feed an animal, and there's a lot of speculation about why raw is a better diet than kibble, and there's a lot of beliefs that kibble is bad for animals because it's processed, it's not like alive, it has damaged, denatured proteins and various other claims that just are not supported by any evidence. There's a lot of people who believe that veterinarians are not educated about nutrition, and that's why they often recommend, at least for your dog and cat, to feed a kibble-based diet, and that's why they tell people to feed dogs and cats kibble. But the reality of it is that we actually have a very good idea about how animals tolerate kibble. We know that kibble is biologically available. We know that dogs get the nutrition that they need from kibble, and depending on the kibble has been tested and is definitely safe for animals and is considered to be the best way to feed your animals. This goes at least for dogs and cats, but presumably for other species, the same benefits will exist. As far as the so-called benefits of raw, a lot of people say that their pet's coat gets shinier, that their animal is healthier in various ways, and of course a lot of dog owners say that there is less poop when you feed your dog a raw diet. I actually used to feed my dog a semi-raw diet. I really got into that stuff at some point. I used to feed my dog raw bones because I thought it would help her teeth, and I would order a whole bunch of things like organic and free-range meats and give it to my dog, and I felt that it was doing a lot for her, and she did use the bathroom less. But as far as I know, even if it's nice that a dog goes less, I don't see why that would make your pet healthier just because they use the bathroom a little bit more due to the carbohydrate content of the kibble. The fact of the matter is, even when people say that veterinarians don't know a lot about nutrition, there are veterinarians who are actually trained very specifically in nutrition, and they're called board certified veterinary nutritionists. So if anybody knows about nutrition, it's one of them. They, just like the other vets, the conventional vets, also recommend not to feed a raw diet. Now the thing is, there's no clear evidence to feed a raw diet to pets, and there is actual evidence of harm. Just based on the available evidence, there's no reason to feed raw. It's kind of more of an intuitive thing that people do where they feel a raw diet is better just because it makes them feel good, and it's kind of an appeal to nature or appeal to naturalistic fallacy where they just kind of assume that raw is better. And I did it first, and I thought it made perfect sense. I mean, this is what animals eat in the wild, right? Well, in the case of dogs, dogs actually evolved eating scraps and garbage off of humans. Actually, if there's any animal in the world that has evolved to eat kibble, it's dogs. Dogs have been eating around humans for thousands of years, and that's actually how they evolved. So I'm very confused about why people think that a dog needs to eat like a wolf, because dogs did not descend from modern great wolves. Dogs actually descended from a wolf-like ancestor. It was a wolf, but it wasn't the wolf we are familiar with. It was a scavenger wolf, and dogs have actually evolved to eat grains. So if there's any animal that should be eating kibble, it's dogs. Now about my exotic animals. I just like to play it safe. I don't want to introduce any unnecessary bacteria to my animals. Animals in the wild deal with bacterial diseases, and some don't live as long, and I want my animals to live longer than animals live in the wild. So there's really no reason for me to feed raw unless there's future evidence suggesting that there is some actual benefit. I do feed my sand cat and my spotted genet kibble, and my sand cat gets canned food. For people who think that kibble's too dry, well, they actually make canned food, so you can feed wet as well. And the other thing is that you want to feed kibble that has been compliant with the what we call WSAVA, WSAVA approved. So basically dog foods or cat foods or any foods that are compliant with the SAVA standards have been developed through research. They've been developed with a board certified veterinary nutritionist or a PhD animal nutritionist. And basically it's possible that they're not the perfect diets, but they are the most evidence-based and the safest that we know about right now. And considering that we have no other evidence supporting raw other than what people's preferences are based on their intuition and not any actual science, there is absolutely no reason to feed raw. Some exceptions might be for enrichment purposes, and maybe some animals like raw. I can definitely say that my sand cat really likes raw meat. I've talked to some sand cat owners whose cats actually do not even eat cat food, and she didn't eat cat food when I first got her, but I had to work with her a whole lot, and I eventually got her onto cat food only under very specific circumstances. She'll only eat wet food, and then I add a little dry in there. And I'm still looking into the evidence for raw and dental issues. Dental issues, of course, are a very important part of an animal's health, and not every animal can get their teeth brushed, which is absolutely essential, and not every animal can get anesthesia constantly or at all. I did actually notice a huge difference, and I know this is anecdotal, but when my dog was chewing not just any raw meat, they were called marrow bones. When my dog would chew on those for a very long time, I saw a noticeable difference in at least the surface of her teeth. And if there's a difference in the surface, then perhaps there's a difference beneath the tooth, because of course the most important part of your animal's health is not what you can see on the surface, it's below the gum line, because below the gum line is where all the trouble starts as far as health problems. And I did read some papers that suggested that raw meat does have a benefit for ferrets, so I'm still looking into that right now. But for the most part right now, there's no reason to feed your animals raw, especially for any health benefits. And I would also recommend looking into some dental products designed for dogs that are approved by the Veterinary Oral Health Council, because those products need to have accomplished at least one actual study that shows that they have some level of efficacy. But anyway, that's the video, and I guess you can let me know what you think in the comments, and hopefully this provided some information that you find helpful.